So with that, we go to our keynote speaker today, Sandy Dubay. Sandy has spent a career helping communities find ways to communicate their unique assets and ultimately increase job growth and opportunities for their residents. At her core, Sandy is passionate about helping people communicate in the most effective way possible. So Sandy from Platinum PR, thanks for coming to this year's Quad County Business Summit, and you have the floor.
Thanks, Brian. During this pandemic, let's face it, everything changed. And if it didn't, aren't we asking ourselves, why didn't it change? Should it change? When will it change? It's really easy for us to go down that rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, woe is me, what do I do? I didn't realize this was going to be so hard. But what I want us to do for the next hour is to focus on how we can embrace and learn our own superpower to make the future great. Now, I want you to understand, I am a recovering economic developer. I spent my career, the first part of my career in economic development, worked in 2 different counties in 2 different states. None of them were in Virginia, but that's where I'm from, coincidentally. But I was involved in research and marketing and business attraction, and most importantly, existing business support. Helping businesses like yours to grow. So that passion from my perspective hasn't changed. I just now get to channel it a little bit differently by supporting the economic development community that then ultimately supports you. So I like to think of my superpower as that of as a networker, as a connector, and I believe that that's one of the primary superpowers for all economic developers, is that of a connector. Now in rural communities, like yours, like most of my clients, you have 1, maybe 2 people working in economic development. They spend their days jumping from task to task, reacting to whatever it is that has come up, whether that's a business need, some need from a resident, an elected official, a new business that's thinking about starting up or relocating to their community. Whatever it is, they're hopping around. Oftentimes, economic developers kind of get a bad reputation. People think that they're just there helping and bringing the big guys into their community. I think that this summit and the Pitch Fest that just occurred are beautiful examples of what economic development really does, and that's to support those growing businesses. They really spend most of their time working with you all, working with the existing businesses that are here. The best part about economic development in a rural area, and the reason I'm going into this is because I want you to understand my lens. I want you to understand the tips and ideas and stuff that we're going to get into here in a minute. I've got some PowerPoint slides. We're going to share all of that. We're going to have some fun. This is going to be interactive. None of this hiding behind your name and stuff like that. We're going to be turning cameras on today. But I want you to understand that particularly in rural areas, the economic development community, and I use this huge umbrella. Those are those with the title economic developer, like I'm sitting here staring at Rose. Those that have a tourism director title, looking at Lori. Where's Rebecca? I don't know where Rebecca went on my screen. The SBDC, Diane. Those of you that are doing this on a regular basis at whatever level that is. So I'm going to use the term economic development to really be that entire ecosystem that we're operating under. But in rural areas in particular, they're your go-to. If you don't know who to turn to, you need help from the state, county, or local government, you're calling your economic developer. Now, you might not have been doing that pre-COVID. You might not even be doing that yet today, but I encourage you at the end of this session to understand the value that this team is for you. If you're struggling with hiring or retaining qualified staff, and who of us aren't struggling with some of these areas, you call your economic developer. If you're looking for a small business loan or a grant during this pandemic, you call your economic developer. If you are trying to figure out how, Scott or Johnny down the street got tapped into some program, you call your economic developer. They might not know, but they're that connector that's going to help you figure it out. I think the most, for me, when I sat down to kind of work on this, the most reassuring or encouraging piece is that you're all here probably because of the relationship that you have with one of these, 6 to 10 individuals. Okay, quad, and then we add Madison, and then we add, Rebecca and her team, and, we add all of these other entities. So that's where it's not that I don't know how many, a quad is. Anyway, so you guys are working within your economic development, with your economic developers in your community. You know them. You were probably members in Rotary with them. Your kids go to school with them, or now they sit on Zoom with them, whatever it happens to be. So I want you to understand that they are part of the community, but they are the beautiful part that's here to help you. That's their only mission, is to help you and to help the business community grow. What I want to do today is to share some thoughts and ideas on how we can all own our power. We can truly thrive during this pandemic. And I know that sounds kind of silly because it's, a pandemic. Are we supposed to be thriving? Well, I challenge you to thrive. I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to walk us through the Own It method. And this Own It method is going to be a way, I'm hoping that you'll just look at things a little bit differently and not just one another, because now we all got smaller on the screen. So here was, quick overview slide. That's me. That's what I look like pre-pandemic with, a hairdresser and, in a photo shoot. But all my social media is there. You can, capture the screenshot if you'd like. And I will warn you now, this is going to be an interactive session. So there will be lots of opportunity. I hope you have pulled up your chat box. You know where it is, and you're going to be ready to connect and engage. Oops. So the Own It method. The first part of the Own It method is opportunity. What's your vision? Where do you want to go? Knowing your end goal is really the first step to getting there. I will confess, when I started my business over 18 years ago, I did not have a goal. I did not know why I was doing this. I had a friend from college plant a little seed, and that seed began to grow. And I thought, wow, let's see, I'm pregnant with my one and only child. This obviously is the perfect time to start a business, right? Now, I don't know if that resonates. If any of you have started your business and grown your business, kind of on a whim, but I'd be curious now, after over 18 years, I'm still doing this. I have grown a team. It's not just me. I have a team of amazing people that I get to work with every single day. I've got some super cool clients all across the country. But yes, this started on a whim. If you have these thoughts and you have these ideas, I would encourage you to reach out. So for those of you, I'm curious if you know how to use the raise your hand feature or something in the participants listing. If you click on participants, there are different features there that will let you, give a thumbs up. something like that, or you can throw it in the chat. I'm curious if any of you really kind of started this on a whim, or more importantly, haven't even started a business yet and still are just working on your idea. So tell me who's got just an idea that's tossing around in their head that you're trying to figure out. I don't know what Scott won, the business won for the pitch contest. I'm curious if that is a business that's currently functioning or is still an idea. And now, let's see. So Ruby started after leaving teaching and working for the government. Okay. So I'm assuming that you've already started your business. Awesome. I'm curious how many of you have worked with your small business development centers. They're huge resources and can help you figure out that end goal. They can help you to craft that marketing plan or give you the tools so that you can do it yourself, which is the most important, which is what everybody wants to do. I think I've written maybe 3 marketing plans for my company over the years, and they do evolve. It's not a one and done. It doesn't sit on the shelf. Okay, but I will confess, don't tell Rebecca or Diane this, but I didn't actually write the marketing plan when I first started the business. I was probably like 3 years into it. Trust me when I say it would have been so much easier if I'd actually sat down and thought about it, but I am kind of a dive in and we'll figure it all out later kind of a gal. I probably would have been a lot more successful if I had actually worked with the resources that existed, but I digress. I want you to be thinking about what opportunity you have that you're just sitting on. And I don't care if you are one of our economic development partners here on this call, or if you are an entrepreneur or you're working for a bigger business, what is an opportunity, something that you've thought about during COVID, perhaps, and you just haven't taken the leap yet? Anybody have anything? I'll confess mine. I'm afraid to confess this because those that I interact with on a regular basis, like Rose and Lori and Susan, are gonna call me out on this. But I wanna start podcasting. I'm actually in my podcast studio in my office. This is my first time using this space, these gorgeous acoustic panels that my mother created. So that's what I wanna do, putting it out there to the world. I have no more excuses. I've used these the lack of acoustic panels for weeks. What have you been sitting on? Rebecca says, everyone is keeping their $1 million idea close to their vest. I think you're right. I think Rebecca is so right. Anne says she plans to start vlogging. That's awesome. So, Anne, that's beautiful. I love it. For those who don't know, vlogging would be a video blog. So blog would be the written word and the vlog would, probably be created on a cell phone and something interactive like that. That's awesome. Anybody else? Oh, wait a second. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is what happens when I get so excited with the chats that I forget to put up my slide that says, put it in the chat. So here, if you have any other thoughts, I would love to hear about, what opportunity you're sitting on. And if you're not going to share it in the chat, write it down on your note paper. Write it down on that paper that you are going to be taking notes on. You probably did this morning if you were involved in the pitch throughout the afternoon. So Curtis says, market his book. That's awesome. I love it. Yes, a book can be a really expensive business card. I don't know what kind of book it is, Curtis, but you don't want that to just sit on the shelves. You need to, get that out there and start sharing it. Okay, Lori, my husband comes up with a new business idea about once a week. Never seems to stick when we talk it through. It's so important, but just continue talking it through, because the last thing you want to do is to act on it and then talk it through and say, oh my gosh, hindsight is terrible. This was not a good idea. Let's see, Tom, our entertainment delivery company, Super Fun Attractions, has lost our church, school, and corporate events. Oh my gosh. which we deliver on. So we were taking a slowdown to try to build a new arena for events in green. Oh my gosh, Tom, that's huge. What an amazing community partner. And when we get into the other words in the Own It method, let's revisit that. That's awesome. Scott says, always looking for opportunities and what my competitors are doing right and wrong. Sure. Diane, currently working with some folks who have some wonderful ideas. Okay, so Diane is keeping them close to the vest, which I appreciate the confidentiality. As with everything in economic development and SBDCs, it's all confidential, so thank you. Tom is a 5,000 square foot warehouse and structure for clients. That's amazing. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so our next part of the Own It method is words. The words you use, your message, how you communicate that message to the public, it's so important. I want you to think about how you handle your strengths and your challenges and how you communicate during COVID. Not everyone wants to read "the world is coming to an end." We've all been there. We've done that. We heard that, my gosh, during the last 5 months leading up to the election, for goodness sakes. Sometimes people just need to hear positive and great. How are you using your words for good? I know it can be really hard, but the words we end up using in our everyday language become what we believe, and it becomes so much easier. I want to know how you're talking to yourself, not just how you're talking to your clients. Now, I like sarcasm with the best of them, but I need to respect my head and my heart, and I need to hold that space sacred, and I need to be really careful about the words that I use, because the words really do matter. I want you to own your message. I want you to own your uniqueness, your relationships, how you are marketing and communicating. I want you to own that superpower. And I really can't say that without my Wonder Woman stance. But most importantly, I want you to own that impact. You have impact. I can't even imagine the relationships that are being created or strengthened today during this conference. So much great opportunity because you're here, because you're present. During these times here at Platinum PR, we wanted to do something a little different. And so we took a step back from our normal economic development, marketing communications related newsletter. And we decided to do 8 weeks of thanks. And we are sending out every week. We just sent out week 2 today. Every week we're sending out something to get you thinking a little different. Maybe it inspires you to participate and do the same activity that we have done this week. Or it inspires you to just say thank you to one of your clients or one of your friends or a family member or your neighbor. Last week's activity, we donated to a food bank, and it is amazing how hard that is during COVID. Oh my gosh, that was a thing. I had no idea, you know, the days of emptying the pantry and putting it in a bag are over. Now, one of the things that one of my team members, Sophie, discovered is that some food banks that are sophisticated, very sophisticated, I was blown away by it. I don't know if all of them have this, but they should, is that they have Amazon wish lists. It's like a bridal registry. It's amazing. I was able to, in like literally 3 clicks of a button, make a donation online. Completely hands-free, completely safe, and I received a note saying that my item was delivered. It was awesome. So when we think about our words and we think about our actions, keep this stuff in mind. Oh, and week 2 was we wrote a letter. So more words. I wrote a note card. So I want you to think, and what I want you to share in the chat are some positive words. Tell me something that you would like to hear, something that you would, words that you think would make an impact with your audience or with this audience today. I'm just curious if anybody will play along here, and I'm going to read some of the other chat things. Oh, okay. David, I like David's comment about saying I can before I ask someone for help. I can help create an outline if you can help me write the article. Yes, and honestly, okay, David, you're kind of reading my mind a little bit, which I'm loving, and the next piece of this. But Rose, listening more before responding. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, anybody else guilty? Curtis, diversity and inclusiveness. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I think the importance certainly of diversity and inclusiveness is really, really important. We talk about that a lot here with my team and with other clients and other organizations that we're working with. That's great. Don't try to be someone you're not. Oh, yeah. Be true, not fake. Thank you, Scott. Yes, yes, yes. Cynthia, honor your creativity. I love it. Let's keep those words coming. It's great. And, you know, some of that is really good. Diane, all things are possible, but first preparation. You're so funny, Diane. It cracks me up because I have been literally working on this talk and thinking about you all as an audience for, I don't know, 5-6 months. Rose, Brian, I don't know when you reached out. But I have words, I have practiced, but new things come up and they come into my head, and that's when I want to share. So yes, the preparedness, but I also want you to see me. And by seeing me, you need to see that my mind sometimes goes all over the place. But I hope that the message is still something that is interesting and resonates. But so yeah, your comment hit me, Diane. Thank you. Catherine, never stop learning and growing. And Jim and Jen, I love it when people are together and have the two names here in their Zoom. Before making a recommendation, when somebody asks for your help, gain their buy-in by repeating their needs back to them. Oh, what a good action. That's perfect. Use words to validate another person's point of view. Oh, Shannon. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a tough one. That can hit home, can't it? Oh, that's great. Okay, now, and I am be genuine. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I love it. I think that we all want that, and we want to respect and appreciate one another with our words and our actions, and encourage you and know that we appreciate you because you are being true and genuine. That's great. So next, oh my goodness. Okay, who was it? It was David, I think, that talked about networking and, you know, figuring out how to collaborate and how to connect. And it's not about constantly taking. It is about what you can do, how you can be of service. And I am a Rotarian, and the motto there is service above self. And I think that definitely holds true in business as well. And when you are being proactive and helping out your neighbor, whether that is your, you know, a neighbor in your residence or your business neighbor, or somebody in a competitive business, or just somebody else in your general industry, figuring out ways that you can engage and connect in meaningful ways. And just like this group, for being present here today is huge. I know you all have so much going on, and you know, could very easily, although some of you are probably have your cameras turned off and are multitasking, and that is okay. Hopefully you will turn your cameras back on soon, and we will be able to you know, include you, and you will engage in the conversation. But the power of this network is so huge. And really, when I think about the power of networking, how many of us are a member of a chamber? Now, I can't see you, but you know, how many of us are members of more than one? But yes, it really, if you don't go, you're not going to get anything out of it. I encourage you, when was the last time you participated? Online or in person? What are you doing to make it work for you? How are you making an effort? How are you engaged? This stuff isn't just going to happen. You need to be out there connecting with and engaging with other individuals. Rudy asked, I'm going to quick answer a direct message, a private message. So it's a little secret conversation we've got going on in the chat right now. I'm actually a member of a club in West Virginia. It's the Shepherdstown Rotary Club, past president of the Shepherdstown Rotary Club. It's awesome, and I love it. I've actually moved. I live about 45 minutes away from there, but I still go back because, I don't know, I like my crew. They're my posse, and it's awesome and amazing. So yes, little digression. But there is, whether it's Rotary or the Chamber, there's a power in numbers. There's a power of that association. We were working on an event. I laugh when I say events now. We were working on an event in the last couple of weeks that was a kind of a farmer's market, so to speak, for Black-owned businesses. It was called Soul Street. It's happening here in Frederick County, Maryland, and we have been promoting it. Economic Development, we've been helping them to promote it. I'm not an organizer. Economic Development is an organizer. It's an independent group that's been organizing this. And this is a group of Black-owned businesses that have all come together. They were planning a huge Black Friday event with, you know, all of their vendors coming together in one parking lot and things like that. As of Friday, they made the difficult decision to move it virtual, which is what makes me cry. But there is a power in numbers. There's a power in being creative and thinking things differently. Even in a virtual environment, I have no doubt that this event might even be more successful than if they had only had the limitation of people wanting to come in person. So now you've got the power of, you know, 20 to 30 vendors that are all sharing this information out there, and you're going to get a much greater reach. Just like this event. If each one of these 4, soon to be 5 counties, I don't know, Madison, I don't know what we do with you. I don't know how we count you in this quad, but I'm going to count you in 5. So if each of these counties had done their own thing, oh my gosh, can you even imagine? The numbers would be smaller, the impact would be smaller, the number of people that you would then be able to connect with and, you know, meet and engage with in this capacity would be much smaller. So I applaud you for continuing to do this event year after year, even when it's wacky, even in a wacky time. Okay, now this next one, this next activity, you might not be prepared for, so you might need to minimize. I guarantee you need to minimize your screen. I encourage you to minimize your screen, if not right now, at some point during the day, and put your LinkedIn URL in the chat. Now, I don't know if you use Zoom as much as I do, but if you are in that chat, the bottom right-hand corner of the chat box, there are 3 little dots. Zoom, and there are 3 little dots to rename and 3 little dots to do something, you know, to, in this case, save your chat. So at the end of the day today, thank you, David, look at you, you're super quick. At the end of the day today, before you log out, I want you to download the chat so that you can access and connect with all of these other individuals that are here today. And Sarah, yes, get on LinkedIn. She says, is it bad if I don't use LinkedIn? I'd love to know what you do, Sarah. But in general, you need to be on LinkedIn. Okay. If that's not enough guilt for you right this second, then we can talk later. But yes, LinkedIn is, I used to always say it's a Chamber of Commerce meeting on steroids. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's the Chamber's ability to live on or live between events, live between live events. And it's great. So, okay. Rudy, I think, is sticking up for Sarah that you're a new business owner in Fluvanna, which is great, but you still need to get on LinkedIn. Okay. Awesome. Cool. So now, again, I think we've shared at least 10 or 20 email, 10 or 20 LinkedIn profiles here in this real quick exchange. And I encourage you to keep it going throughout the day. When I finally stop and you guys have a break right before your breakouts, I want you to, continue to add. So I'm very proud of you, all of you, Sarah included, for sharing that information. And Sarah, save these LinkedIn profiles, save that chat. And as soon as you get yours set up, then you've got, presumably 40 people to connect with immediately, which would be awesome. Own it. The I in own it is impact. I want you to be prepared for greatness. But impactfulness doesn't work unless you put that effort in. I want you to think about how your organization or you are making an impact in your community, making an impact in your industry, making an impact in the world, making an impact with one other human. When I think about impact with my economic development or my small business owner hat on, I think about job creation. I think about hiring. I think about payroll. But I think about payroll and what it does and the impact that it has on another individual or another family's life. If you can't hire somebody at full time, maybe you hire an intern. And I said hire an intern. I'm guilty, super guilty, two-handed guilty of not paying my interns for years. I thought, oh my gosh, this is so much work just having you here. I can't also pay you. But I realized that I was getting a very limited type of intern. I wasn't being inclusive. I was only providing this opportunity for those that had the means to not get paid. And that wasn't right. So I stopped that. And now we've had a number of great interns in the recent history since I have changed that process. But I encourage you to think about what it is that you're doing that's impactful. The economic developers in this audience, we have every county, all 5 counties represented in economic development here today. You guys have been giving out some serious COVID money. And I just want to take a minute and thank you. In economic development, you did not sign up to be, giving money away. It was about creating opportunities that might inspire innovation, that would create these lasting impacts for humans in our community. But creating these grants and supporting the businesses, whether it's, payroll protection or anything else, if you did get money from economic development, I hope you were able to make an impact. I hope it was able to impact you, and I hope that you're able to pay that forward. I'm curious if anyone here has received an economic development grant or maybe has pivoted. Were you a distillery that's now doing hand sanitizer? Were you a fabric shop that is now making face masks? You can tell my mother is not a fabric shop, but she does frequent them. Are you now manufacturing personal protection equipment for first responders? anything like that, I would love to hear it, and I'd love to applaud you because you are truly making an impact. Those of you that have just kept your doors open and able to make payroll, you're making an impact. So thank you. I'm guessing nobody wants to participate in this next one. So, but if you've received one, I'm curious, yeah, how you've pivoted and in what way have you made an impact? If anybody wants to share, I'd love to hear. I know the second I switch to the next slide, somebody's going to type something, but so I'm going to go with it. Our final T in the Own It method, I couldn't decide. I needed it too. I needed 2 T's, but thriving together. Because I believe that when we thrive, how we thrive is by doing that together. Sarah says she received a grant and was able to buy HEPA filters and UCV light sanitizers in order to make her space safe for customers. Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Congratulations. That's great. That's great. I'm curious how many of you are working together. How many of you partner, collaborate with one another? How many of you have seen somebody else on the screen today that you want to connect with? How many of you have sent that private chat to somebody that says, hey, oh my gosh, I checked out your LinkedIn profile while Sandy was talking and we really need to connect. I'd love to hear. I just encourage you to do it. So here, our question is, has anyone helped you? Has anyone helped you and your organization to thrive? This would be a great opportunity to say thanks, if appropriate. But I'm going to turn to David. Let's see, David, biggest accomplishment in 2020 was more collaborating with peers to work on projects together. Isn't that great? I love it. David, I'd love to hear what kind of business that you have. I'm sure others probably know, but I don't. Jim and Jen, we have connected with many extremely helpful people in this session. That's great. I love it. And I love thinking that there's lots of private chats going on during this session. That just makes me happy. As part of this research, as my research for this session, I hadn't been to Madison. Okay, there, I said it. I hadn't done it. So I went to Mad Local. Lots of businesses in the area do this. They are not the only ones. But first, the name Mad Local. Hello, love it. And then I love that this was a sign above our table in the restaurant. And they were, promoting these other local businesses. That's great. I love it. It was encouraging. And well, it's alcohol, so that's good too. But I encourage you to think of little ways. They had another board that I did not get a picture of, but I could see it in my head, that were all of their local suppliers, local farms that they buy from. Thought it was awesome. In those instances, those are really great ways to introduce and to reinforce your partnership, to reinforce that collaboration, to reinforce that connection that you're making with others. So, Tracy, yes, you're welcome. I think I told you in an email that I was doing a field trip to Madison, so I did cover that. It was awesome. Curtis says everything that, I guess thank you to everything that Brian is doing and everything that he does for Fluana. That's awesome. And David is in management consulting, strategy and execution. Okay, very cool. I love it. I love this quote from Helen Keller. When one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we're looking so long at the closed door that we don't see which one has opened for us. How can you move forward and own it? It's easy to feel scared and stuck, like things might be out of control. But that mindset, it really only limits our creativity. I encourage you to think about it. Think about how you can own your power, how you can embrace those opportunities. You can embrace the power of your words and your network, and know that your impact will be stronger and you'll be able to thrive together. I look around at this list of people who are here today, all of these faces, and I thank you. I thank you for being here. I thank you for being engaged in the chat. It's so much easier when you interact and connect, because otherwise it feels like I'm talking to myself, and that was not my intent today. I thank you for your time, and here is just a quick link to my website. If anybody would like to visit, I would love to have you there. And I wanted to end because, you know, it is Virginia and all. I've got a few of my favorite love signs that I've collected over the last year that would just happen to be on my camera, and I wanted to share. So just a few things that will hopefully put a little smile on your face. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Sandy. Does anyone have any questions for, oh, you have Shepherd 91 graduate.
Oh my gosh. Okay, where's Sam? Where's Sam? Where's Sam? I don't, where. Okay. Okay, I've got a funny story. If Sam will show his face, or he or she, I don't know if Sam is a guy or a girl.
Sam's one of our presenters. He's a guy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know where Sam is. I still can't see. Anyway, yes. So I will confess. There you are, Sam. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will confess. Yes. Class of 95, but I lived in Shepherdstown until about a year and a half ago. And I was also the Ram. I was the mascot for a football season. I know this is stuff you should not ever admit to a room full of strangers, or more importantly, a room full of people that you know. But I wanted to make that confession to you, Sam, because it felt important.
That's really cool.
Oh my goodness. Awesome.
Does anybody have any questions for Sandy? We are ahead of schedule, so we'll have a bathroom break and a little bit of a pause, just so we keep with the schedule in case people are popping in just for the breakout session. So we do have some minutes if you'd like to chat or ask any questions to Sandy.
Yeah, please. I would welcome anything and everything. Obviously, this was a little bit different in terms of, well, it's COVID, so everything's different, but a little bit different with the economic development and the power of that collaboration and stuff. But if you got any marketing questions or things like that, I would love to hear.
Sandy,
Yeah.
can I share that last little thing we were just talking about?
Yeah.
On the private chat. So
Yeah.
guys, you cannot really comprehend the power of Rotary and the power of networking until you understand that Sandy and I met at a Rotary International Conference in either Atlanta or Toronto. We both went to both of those. And when I got on here, I was like, man, I know this woman. Where do I know this woman from? And it clicked. So I would just encourage you to continue to grow your circle of influence, because you don't know where it'll lead you. And if you are not a member of a Rotary Club, you should join one.
You know, I always said that Rotary was for me personally to fuel my soul. And I almost like fought off clients. I didn't want a client if you were in, like, I just wanted you to be my friend. I just wanted to help, but it is amazing what it does. And in a small community, yeah, it's cool. I'm actually, the Rotary Club here in Frederick County, Maryland, asked if I would facilitate their Zoom Christmas party, because they all want to hang out and have fun and wanted somebody independent, because I haven't joined the local Rotary. I haven't switched from my guys, but they wanted to do something. So yeah, no, it's great. I think the power of community is awesome. What else? Somebody's got a question. No, you're all just anxious to go to your breakouts. Did everybody get to hear Scott and his business? Do we know what Scott won the pitch contest for?
Yeah, Scott, if you would like to just take a few seconds to talk about your business.
Absolutely. And thank you. I was going off screen because the wind's blowing and I know one of these trees are going to blow over on me. So if something comes through the office, I'll have it on record. But no, I'm very blessed to have this opportunity to even present in this contest. And my business, I'm located here in Palmyra, Virginia. And last November, actually 18th, I was looking at my state certificate of business and I said, man, it's coming up. And actually it's tomorrow. So survived 1 year anyway. But just saw a need here in Fluvanna and the surrounding counties from having done healthcare sales for many years and traveling in those counties for a trustworthy transportation company, somebody you'd be comfortable with if your mom or dad were using them. I offer like sitting down with clients before you see the driver or meet the driver and find out what their needs are. And I think trust and safety, I'm very big on COVID precautions. So I think that's very important in this day and time. Won't be able to sit down and talk to them, but we want to do it the right way, but offer virtual things too. So really excited where it's going. I can see the need. I'm very blessed to be in a service-oriented business, and the love is coming back to me when you treat people right is just amazing. So, yeah.
And special thanks to all of our finalists for the quad tank. It was a great morning. And congratulations to Scott for reliable rides.